Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Medrano. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On March 1st, 2025, the officer observed a white Honda CR-V involved in a minor accident. The defendant was traveling southbound on Dennis Street when he struck a 2016 gray Lexus. The defendant admitted to consuming alcohol recently, and standard field sobriety tests were administered. HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant refused breath.
Hey, he admitted to consuming alcohol recently. So what?
And Your Honor, there are no other indications of intoxication listed in the DUIs.
No slurred speech, no bloodshot eyes, no,
We don't have that.
not even an odor of alcohol.
No, Your Honor. None
Your
of that.
Honor, what we do have is that there's an accident and when another officer told him that he thought that the defendant was intoxicated. We don't know what that other officer observed
Right.
based on the DIM's
Yeah.
facts.
All right. I'm going to find no probable cause. Mr. Medrano,
I'll explain.
hey, be careful, man. I mean, look, every single day, someone dies from an alcohol-related collision in our county. Every single day. $50, $40, Uber, anywhere you want to go. Don't matter where you want to go. You know what I mean? All right. Good luck. Please.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks.
I like your seat.
What's going on, man?
Morning, Your Honor. I came early.
Son?
Yeah, my son.
Nice. That's right. Good job.
Thank you.
You've already been here before, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry. What's going on?
Judge, I came earlier this week on a Jamalith Bojorquez, and
Is it on docket today?
no, it's not on docket, but you told me to bring her in. You said it
Did
was.
she get an immigration bond or something?
No. She just she had a pretrial bond. She
Did you have a
said
violation or something?
no, she just didn't show up that day, so they issued a
Okay, what's your cause number?
cause number is 25309.
I remember now.
Yeah,
Right. Okay, 09.
52.
That's it. So this was she never appeared for her arraignment. We issued a warrant, so now she's here. Do you mind bringing her up?
Yes. Jamalith.
Do you need a translator?
No, she speaks English. She's a U.S. citizen.
It's 2530953.
2530952.
Ahem. Ahem.
Bruce, can I get that call?
Yeah, it's 2530952. You are Ms. Borroquez.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You had court on October 2nd of last year. We issued a warrant for your failure to appear. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Please.
On September 25th, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop on East Sam Houston Parkway in Harris County, Texas, after observing the defendant driving 70 miles per hour in a 50 mile per hour zone. The officer requested to consent to search the vehicle and the defendant consented. The officer found a ball of white capital labeled tramadol on the front passenger seat. The defendant told the officer she did not have a prescription.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. Can you run her license?
Yes, Judge.
The only issue I have with the case is what's the reason for the search? I mean, she's nothing.
She agreed to it. I mean, that's,
I understand.
Her license is eligible, Your Honor.
okay. As long as you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance, you may continue to drive. I am ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs or unprescribed controlled medication. If I find that you're consuming any kind of illegal pills that are not prescribed, I will put you in jail. Do you understand?
I understand.
You missed court. I'm going to give you a get out of jail free card today, but you're not going to get another one. You miss court again. It's really not going to go well for you. I will revoke your bond and put you in custody. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
No more PR bonds. You pick up a new case, violate conditions, don't stay in touch with them. That's it. I'm not asking for much.
Judge, reinstatement?
Yeah, we'll reinstate the bond now. I'll leave it at 2501. Get ready because you will be tested. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so,
For the record, it was for her mom.
well,
But yeah, we gotta, yeah, so.
just get it and you guys do what you need to do. I want to make sure that she's just not using. You know, the problem is, and what a lot of people don't understand is they go out, they party, they take these pills. Nowadays, you have no idea what you're taking. Just not even like a little bit of fentanyl kills you, you know? You take oxy, take too much, you put your lungs to sleep, you die. So you got to be careful. I don't know whose, I'm just, be careful. That's it. You got but one life. All right. We'll have you sign a reset with Ramona, get you Felicia for your bond condition, Felicia, and then you're free to go.
Thanks, Judge. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Rand. Mr. Bird, you're charged with two cases. You're charged with reckless driving and unlawful carrying of a weapon. On the reckless driving, you're facing up to 30 days and or a $500 fine. And on the gun case, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On March 1st, 2025, at approximately 1:18 a.m., the officer observed a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed, and the officer had to drive in excess of 130 miles per hour.
130?
Yes, Judge. And the vehicle exited from the highway, and the officer paced the vehicle bumper to bumper between 100 and 105 miles per hour. The vehicle was changing lanes and driving around vehicles that were traveling at the posted speed limit of 45 miles per hour. The officer caught up to the vehicle to get a closer read and paced the vehicle again at 92 miles per hour. The vehicle drove through a stale red light without stopping and into the intersection at 51 miles per hour. A traffic stop was conducted, and the defendant stated he was driving that way because he was on his way to his baby mama's house and that she wanted to go to the doctor. The defendant stated that he may have outstanding traffic tickets. The officer asked the defendant if he had any guns in the vehicle, and the defendant stated he did not. The defendant was arrested for reckless driving, and an inventory search of the vehicle was conducted, and the officers located a loaded semi-automatic gun found between the driver's seat and the center console. The defendant stated the firearm belonged to his girlfriend, and the defendant made further references and threats towards the officer.
Mr. Bird, you understand that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. And if that means putting you in jail and making your bond sky high, I will do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand?
Yes,
You
sir.
are not allowed to drive, and you will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing every single time you drive. It's an offense in and of itself. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And finding that there's probable cause to go forward on the reckless driving in addition to the gun case. You're also ordered not to be in possession of any weapons as well. If I find that you have a weapon, you pick up a new case, violate conditions in any way, I will revoke your bond on both cases, put you in jail, no more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You work these, what do you do with yourself these days?
Yeah, I just lost my job due to this case.
Okay, I'll have you fill out an application. Deputy Rand is going to give you an application. I'll have you fill it out. I'll take a look at it. Keep my county safe. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Step over here, Mr. Bird.
Good morning, Mr. Frazier. Sir, you're charged with indecent exposure. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On March 1st, 2025, the officer was at a Texas Roadhouse parking lot in Harris County, Texas, conducting a traffic stop. While on the stop, 2 restaurant employees approached the officer to state the defendant had just exposed himself to them by having his car window down to be visible to them and stroke his penis up and down. The employees provided a picture of the vehicle, the license plate, and a picture of the defendant. While trying to get an accurate location of the vehicle, the defendant began approaching the employee while she was on foot in the parking lot. Two employees pointed out the vehicle getting ready to leave the parking lot, and the officer conducted a traffic stop. The defendant stated he was trying to get to a hospital for a laceration to his left leg, and the officer went inside the restaurant to view surveillance of the parking lot. The officer observed the defendant waiting in the parking lot before the complainants walked out. The defendant was parked further back than the complainants. When the complainant got into their vehicle, the defendant drove forward and parked next to the complainants. The complainants turned and observed the defendant to have a passenger window down, sitting up in the driver's seat and stroking his penis in an up and down motion. The complainants drove off and came back to the defendant's vehicle to get a picture of the defendant and his vehicle. The defendant pulled forward again in a parking next to the vehicle with a woman facing away from the defendant. The defendant parked his vehicle and eventually drove away. The defendant drove around the parking lot and approached the complainant who was on foot searching for him. The complainant ran away in fear of being hit by the defendant's vehicle.
Mr. Fleischer, we're going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm warning you as a condition of your bond not to expose yourself to anyone in this county in public. Do you understand? If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. I'm also ordering you not to go back to this place. Where was this?
A Texas Roadhouse, Your Honor.
Okay, you're not allowed to go back to this Texas Roadhouse. Do you understand? Likewise, if I find that you go back, then I will revoke your bond. So would you reach out to them to let them know that we have put these conditions in place
Yes,
so that if they should see him again,
Yes, Judge.
okay? Mr. Fleischer, do you have the ability to hire a lawyer or would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer? Okay. Deputy Miranda's going to give me an application. I need you to fill it out and I'll take a look at it. Don't be a danger to my community. Do you understand? Okay. Good morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 28th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to a crash and Houston Fire Department was transporting the complainant to the hospital. The officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, and asked for insurance. The officer observed a long neck beer bottle fall out of the defendant's vehicle, and the officer observed an odor of an alcoholic beverage, and the defendant stated he had 1 glass of champagne. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, 1 leg stand 1 out of 4. The defendant consented to a breath sample and the results were 0.143 and 0.135.
Are you saying that he has alcohol in the car while he's driving?
Sure, they just found the bottle on the driver's side. There's no indication of being cold to the touch or anything like that.
Driver's side where?
Of the vehicle, it just said it
I mean-
fell out of the driver's side. When the full DIMS just says they observed a long neck beer bottle fall out of his vehicle on the driver's side. And that's the only thing that it mentions.
Can you run his license, run him, see if he has any prior DUIs,
Yes,
please,
yes.
and then his license?
Your Honor, he has no priors and his license is eligible.
Mr. Muobodo, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. Do you understand? You are not allowed to drive unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. If you don't have car insurance, likewise, you're not allowed to drive. We are going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I will have you go to Ramona, sign a reset. After that, you'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir. Good morning, Ms. Ford.
Morning.
Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
I apologize. What's the last name, Your Honor?
P-O-U-R.
Okay. On March 2nd, 2025, the officer was dispatched to an accident on the 4500 block of Southwest Freeway, and the defendant was passed out in the passenger seat of a tow truck. The officer noticed that her eyes were low, her speech was slurred, and her breath smelled like alcohol. She had also urinated on herself. The defendant stated she had one drink and was coming from a club, and the defendant showed lethargic behavior, and the defendant confirmed that she was the driver and that no one was with her. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant consented to breath, and the results were 0.128 and 0.118.
Where was she driving? What was she doing? All I know is that she's sitting in a passenger seat of a tow truck. How did she get there? What happened? Was there an accident? Who is writing these reports nowadays? I mean,
Yes, Judge. And the statement made statement stating that she confirmed that this was her vehicle and she drove it to the crime scene. The defendant confirmed that she was with only her and no one else was with her. The defendant confirmed that she was on her way home from a club where she consumed alcohol. And the defendant's vehicle was found stalled on the shoulder of a busy freeway. And the officer wrote that led the affiant to believe that that there was no one else that fled from the scene. And the officer wrote from the affiant's training experience that he believed that the defendant was the driver of the vehicle based on the statements made to him and finding the vehicle.
did anyone see her drive? Did the tow truck driver see her drive? How long did she drive? When did she drive?
We don't have that information.
So it says that there was, Deputy DuPont was dispatched to a one-car minor accident and the vehicle was leaning on its side and stuck in a muddy ditch. The defendant was passed out in the driver's seat with the key inside the ignition and the engine running. That deputy woke up the defendant.
So someone sees her in the ditch.
Wait, is
I think you might have a different.
That's
Oh,
a
sorry,
different
that was
case,
the
right?
wrong case, Judge.
In this
Sorry,
case,
sorry.
she was passed out in the passenger seat of the tow truck, and there's no other information in regard to her driving besides the statement she made. So there's no one that observed it, Your Honor. And we understand.
Let's do this. I'm gonna appoint your lawyer today so we can have someone take a look at the case for you. Okay? Ramona, do you mind appointing someone for Ms. Moore, please? Just do me a favor. Just take a seat for me in the jury box, will you, please? Good morning, Mr. Jenkins. Sir, you're charged with resisting arrest. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On March 2nd, 2025, officers were dispatched to a traffic hazard. Upon arrival, the officers were monitoring the traffic and crowd control of patrons leaving the bars that were closed around 2 a.m. At approximately 2:20 a.m., the officers observed an altercation occurring in front of D Bar. Officers ran toward the crowd, telling them to stop. An officer approached, crowd dispersed, and the officer observed the defendant punch a male who fell to the ground and was semi-conscious. The defendant and the complainant do not know each other. The officer yelled at the defendant to stop and observed the defendant use his right foot to stomp on the complainant's head while he was laying on the ground semi-conscious. The officer grabbed the defendant and the defendant tried to stomp on the complainant's head again, who was now unconscious. The officers were successful in taking the defendant to the ground, and the officer told the defendant to place his hands behind his back, but the defendant refused and resisted by holding his hands under him in front of his chest. The officer was able to get his right arm out and behind him, but the defendant continued to resist and hold his left arm under his chest while the officers continued to give orders to put his hands behind his back. The defendant resisted and said he did nothing wrong, and the officers were eventually able to handcuff and detain the defendant.
I don't know why an assault hasn't been charged yet. I need to speak with the complainant and the officer to figure out what's going on with that. But yes, there does need to be an assault charge.
Mr. Jenkins, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this location. I'm going to put an ankle monitor on you so I know where you are at all times. You're not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm giving you a curfew. I don't want you out in the middle of the night. Do you understand?
Sir.
If I find that you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail. I will do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs.
Raise your hand.
9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes, Judge.
It's your signature.
You're not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case, not to be in possession of weapons,
This is for you, Judge?
Yeah. not to go within 1,000 feet of this, of D-bar.
Excuse me, Judge. I had hired a lawyer, Ms. Timberly Davis, TJ Davis Law Firm. I don't know. Yes, sir.
I don't have anyone here. I don't have anyone that filed any documents. So what we can do is we can reset your case to give you time to hire this person.
I already paid money and everything. I don't know what it.
I don't know why they're not here. I mean, it's already nearly 11 o'clock. Usually lawyers will get here, she may be, or she or he may be busy somewhere else. I don't know. So what we can do is I can have you go to Ramona Santa Rita. I'll have you get with Felicia for your bond conditions and we'll just have you take a seat to see if they show. Okay? You know what's expected of you. I don't care who is representing you. I don't care who it is. Small farm animal, you are a danger to my public. I only have one place for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. He is at this point only charged with the resisting. I don't know if they're going to do any further charges in the future for the assault. I have ordered him as a condition of his bond not to go back to this location, not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. And I put a monitor on his ankle so I know that he's not going to go back and that he's not out in the middle of the night. I have given him a curfew because I just, you scare me. And I don't want you out in the middle of the night.
Well, Judge, if I can, when you're done, Judge, I don't want to interrupt you, but if we can consider, because he hasn't been charged with anything else, what I did hear is I hear that these officers arrested him that night, and I'm quite sure that whenever they called DA intake, they ran the facts down just as they wrote in the DIMS. So, and the reason I'm asking that we not, so I'm interested to see whether or not the charges were outright denied, or whether it was referred.
They were
And
denied.
because we don't,
All charges were refused, and I've reached out to the intake ADA to see why they were refused.
I mean,
and so I guess the only thing that I was asking, Your Honor, is because they were refused, what we don't know is the back and the front and the forward and all the other in between of this. So I am asking if an ankle monitor not be done on just a resisting arrest and a curfew not be done on just a resisting arrest.
I'm going to do it just for now. If I see that he can behave himself for a while, then come back and we can talk. But for now, I don't want him out in the middle of the night.
Can we just say he not go out in the middle of the night, Your Honor? But I mean,
No,
the only
because
reason I'm asking.
I don't, then I can't see that he's not doing it. I'm going to pay for it. So it's really, I'll pay for everything. So money's never an issue. How do I know that he's actually sticking to his word? I won't. The only way I know is a monitor, and I'm going to do everything in my power to, protect my community. If that means keeping it home at night, that's what's going to happen. So like I said, Ms. Davis, you can always come back after some time. We can discuss. I can, for the life of me, understand how they would just deny. I don't get it. But
I guess when my only thing is, Judge, and I guess I'm urging it because if we have an ankle monitor on, and I understand your fears, the charges have been reduced. If we're going to look at it in terms of being safe for the community, something could happen in the daytime. I just don't want to put, and I'm asking, a restriction on somebody who can't go to work, who can't go get Pampers, who can't go get milk. Emergencies from the middle of the night.
I did 9 p.m. If you want, I could do 10 p.m. I'm always willing to work around a schedule for work, but I'm going to put it on you. That's it. I don't want you out in the middle of the night. I don't want you going to bars. I don't want you going to clubs. I don't want you using alcohol, illegal drugs. That's it.
I get you. I got you.
So we'll come back after some time. Any more issues, talk, I'm always ears, you know?
I know you are, Judge.
And then-
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate you for listening.
For sure. And so you want 9, you want 10, whatever you want?
If we
I'm
can
game.
do 10, Judge, Mr. Jenkins,
Okay.
I
Sure.
guess I did not foresee this on just a resisting arrest, Judge. What are the hours you work?
Currently, right now, I'm at Exxon Mobil in Baytown working 6 to 6. I work overnight. I just got off work coming here.
That's a problem.
I can
And
talk.
so that,
I'll
and
talk to my
that's,
job. I got you.
that's
cool.
why I was, and so Judge, that was why I was concerned. I knew that he worked. His sister used to work for me as a paralegal. And so I knew that there was some nighttime going on here. I just, you know, I didn't know, I didn't anticipate this, so I would have had my issues together. Can we make it to where he is only to go to work at
No,
whatever
not
day?
for now. I don't know him. I don't know how he's gonna be. Let some time pass and then we'll come back, you know, talk to your work. Yeah, I don't want to prevent anyone from working, but
So is he able to at least go to work, Judge, and take the curfew off and say that he is to only go to work? Because if you
no.
have an ankle monitor
How do I know
on-
he works? How do I know he works in the middle of the night?
No,
Other than
what I'm
his
saying
work.
is, Judge, is if he has the ankle monitor, Your Honor, then you can see him leaving from his house to his job.
No, Miss Davis, how do I know he actually works in the middle of the night? I have no proof of that.
Well,
you know,
okay,
other
I'll
than
tell you
him
what, Judge,
saying
can I come and bring you a check? Do you have anything on your phone right now, Mr.
I
Jenkins?
got check stubs
No,
right now.
I'm not, I will, you guys do that at different time.
All right.
I mean, I have a lot of business that I still got. I got another courtroom
Okay.
full of people still to deal with. So
Can I
come back
approach you
and-
next week on it, Judge?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
100%.
I'll approach you next week on it.
For
Your
now,
Honor.
I got it.
no out in the middle of the night.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Come on.
Thank you.
So Timothy, give me a second. I'm gonna get your date.
Thank you, Judge.
Or you tell me, I guess, tell me what day you want.
I was just gonna come off docket, Your Honor, next week. I'm gonna
Okay.
get him to send me a photocopy of his check stub so I can present to you, because I don't want him to lose a job on a misdemeanor resisting arrest. I just need him to work. He gotta pay me. So I
get it.
I don't want him to lose his job. You know, it's already hard enough for men, especially Black men, to get jobs, especially with this hanging over his head. So he may lose his job, and plus he may have a situation where he can't go out and perhaps get another job.
Hey, you want to get together Monday? I'm happy to do it. I'm
Yes,
here
I
Monday.
will do that,
So,
Judge. I'll
whatever you
be there
want.
on Monday
Okay,
in person to show you.
all right.
Thank you, Judge.
Bet.
His appearance is waived. Oh.
It's sure.
And Judge, we will be filing assault charges on this case at the time because the complainant was unconscious. He couldn't state whether he felt pain or not.
Did you hear that? That's why
Either way,
charges
Judge,
are
I
not-
just, if they're gonna file, I just need, I'll do my research on it. They can contact me, let me know, but either way, I just want to talk at least about him working. That's the
Yeah.
very least. And then I can get a regular court date for him later with Ms. Bernal. But I at least want to come in to talk to you about him being able to work,
Okay.
and show you some proof, if I can. Okay,
Done.
so Ms. Bernal,
All right.
whatever date is good. I think I have another case in your court coming up. Can we email you what date that is so I can put both of my cases
Yeah,
together?
But
And
do
then
it with
I'll come.
Ramona. Ramona's here today. It's not Victoria. So
yes,
email
sir.
Ramona.
I'll have
Okay.
the court call, my office call Ms. Ramona, and then I'll be in personally judge in person.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, wait, we need you to file an attorney record too.
We filed actually, but I'll get him to refile it. I'll get him to refile everything.
Hold on, Timberly, I'll see.
Thank you, Your Honor. We filed an appearance of counsel.
This is on. Sorry, Joe.
Jenkins? You say somewhere? No, we haven't.
Bottom of
I don't
5.
see my pen's coming here. Let me see if it's probably.
Pending, maybe?
No.
No, I need to file one.
Yeah, you needed to file it because they don't see it.
I'll have my office. I thought they did, but I'll follow up, Your Honor. No problem. You know, I'll take care of
Not a
it.
problem. Okay,
I'll take
Timberly.
care of it. Okay,
Okay,
thank
have
you. Can
Yes,
I be
ma'am.
excused, Your Honor, or do you need me to talk to Ms. Ramona on the phone?
we're good.
Tell her to put it in the chat.
She's in the chat.
Will do.
Okay. All right, that way.